nice thing about this car is it can take corners without a lot of fuss. And I'm sort of winding it out here on purpose. I don't normally drive this way. Just to show the acceleration capabilities of it. Clutch is a hydraulic clutch. It did have a clutch delay valve in it, which I finally removed at about 135,000 miles. If you're familiar with BMWs, you know about the clutch delay valve. It tends to make it harder to shift, especially when you're starting up. It makes you look like a worse driver than you are. That's the other annoying thing about tourists. They'll go 50 miles an hour in the 35 zone, but when you get to the 55 zone, they still go 50 miles an hour. For some reason, they're convinced the speed limit's 50 through here. So I guess it's a good chance to demonstrate downshift to third, hammer the throttle, and away we go. And go right back into fifth. So you can see it has plenty of pickup. I mean, it's not a slow car. Set my cruise control again. Let's see if we can show you some of the cornering capabilities of this thing. Late braking and then... I mean, for an SUV, an M Roadster will take this corner at 60, but an SUV, this thing goes right along. And you can see it accelerates pretty nicely. Now we are on a concrete highway, so it's a little louder here with the tires and the concrete. But as you can see, I'm doing over 55, hands off the wheel. There's a little bit of a shimmy there, but not bad. It's like everything else that comes and goes. Now the wheel's still. It's a 12-year-old car. Put the speed brake on here because this is where they do give out tickets. So that's my road test video. Hope you get some idea what the car's like. Buying a car over the internet is very difficult. That's why I highly recommend in-person inspections. I've said that on every car I've sold. My boats, my Jeep, my motorcycle. And everybody who's bought these cars has bought them over the internet, and I've never had any negative feedback. I think it's because I try to be overly anal retentive in describing the vehicles and all possible defects, and that way you know what you're getting yourself into. Here we are coming up the other side of the linear bridge. This is a fun car to drive for an SUV. one of the features of the Pioneer is that the steering wheel controls are hooked up through the Pioneer through an interface control. You can turn on the radio, AM, memory, or FM. Let's see what's on the... You can also control the volume and the track number. Switch to a different track if you want. Also switch to FM, and there's also an iPod interface as well. Although if you have a lot of songs on your iPod, it's very laborious. It's easier to switch to the songs using the iPod.
Your wife's operation. Exactly, and just at that time she was looking for someone.
You can also go to this AV button.
Very nice note. Knew about my
and you can select your radio station, AM, or here's the library, which is stored, and you can search by album or artist. It's in alphabetical order. There's an eclectic collection of music on here, everything from the country western that the fellow I bought this from, the radio from, had in Texas, to stuff that I had, to just things people have loaned to me. Disco to big band to rock and roll to punk rock to new age to country. You can erase it all and put on your own stuff. I think the if you go to the menu and go to settings, hard disk info, you can see only about 66% of the hard drive is still available. So there's plenty of room to put more music on. I have to say the handling and dynamics of this car are very good, even at 150,000 miles. Set the cruise control here. We bought a new Nissan pickup truck to tow our trailer with, and it's interesting to see what regular people have to drive. I know it sounds elitist, but the Nissan wanders all over the road. It's just not as precise and tight in the handling. The interior is made out of the cheapest sort of plastic. You know, just the whole dynamics, the seats, the comfort of it is not as good as a 12-year-old BMW, and part of me is regretting selling this car. But you have to pick some time to move on, I guess. The thing about the Nissan, it's a very cheap vehicle. We paid less for that than we bought this for used 8 years ago. BMWs are beautiful cars, but they are not inexpensive. Unless you buy them used and are very handy with tools, or have a good German mechanic that you can use who knows how to fix these things. And turn the radio off, library off. And this also stores destinations. It has points of interest like gas stations, restaurants. The database is from 2008, so some of it's a little dated. For example, they moved the roads here on the island, and that's obviously not on the 2008 database. And once in a while we've been to places in Georgia where they put in new highways and they don't show up. But it will get you where you're going eventually if you plug in a destination you want to go to.